In a world that provides you limitless options, I bet the last thing you want to do to yourself is being boxed. But when you are in the box, it makes you think outside the box. Boxed Up with Pedro, brought to you by Alewa House. Boxed Up, giving you real, frank, and straight to the point conversations. It's been a couple of minutes you saw me on your screens, YouTube, or any of your smart devices. For obvious reasons, the tension that greeted the 2023 general elections, from fuel scarcity down to the Naira redesign, of course, cash trap everywhere. Everything got us trapped. I mean, it got us boxed up. Hence, the need for us to be creative and think outside the box. Now there's a new set, and of course, also agree a few more gray. Welcome to a brand new season of Boxed Up with Pedro. My name is Pedro, that's what you call me. You also call me the Duke of Oratory because you know that's exactly who I am. This season is made possible by Alewa House. Now the next 15 minutes or thereabouts promises to be very, very intense. So your rapt attention will be needed. So, let's go. My guest today is a superstar, and of course, she is somebody you would love to meet. In fact, I've always said it that if you found gold, keep it. If you find platinum, keep it. But if you find a ruby, it's super precious and priceless. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the one and only Ruby Gyang, because she's got a good man like me right here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Pedro. I'm always excited to talk to you.
All right, I'm also very, very excited to have you today on the show. But you know what it is, Boxed Up with Pedro.
Come on.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you if you're tense or not, or if you're boxed up. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's start. Would you say your stay in Chocolate City actually did good to you or the other way around?
Yes and no. Yes, in that by the time I moved to that platform, because I was the first at Loopy Music, it was an unknown brand we're really pushing. By the time I moved to Chocolate City, it was a known brand, established brand. So being on it, I got to access that. You know, that was good for me. No, in that by the time I got there, they switched up their sound. So I'm a soul R&B singer. You know, they wanted to become a pop label. So when I got there, all the attention now went to all the pop artists. So I'm talking Coca, Victoria Kimani, exactly. Myself that was there, Nusa, Millie, we struggled because that was just not the direction of the label. So it has its yes, it has its no.
Okay, so would you say that it actually stunted your growth, your career as an artist?
Yeah, absolutely. In that regard, you know, since now attention was no longer, it was no longer on me. So now I had to make do and utilize it myself, figure out how to make it work for me. But in terms of being on the label per se and looking for that push, no.
Okay, so if I get you right, you were just surviving.
Yeah, I wasn't
instead of
thriving. I wasn't thriving, yeah.
So on a scale of 10, your move to Chocolate City.
I'll give it a 3.
Yeah. That was, you were just in my mind.
I'll give it a 3. So I can't give it a 0 because, you know, but a 3, yeah.
Yes. What would you have done better if that same opportunity presents itself to you right now?
I mean, number one, I would ask more questions. You know, I would ask more questions. At the time, I was more excited. Oh, I'm at Chocolate City. What Ice Prince is getting, what Jesse, you know, what Jude is getting, that's what I would get. But then I'd have asked more questions. I say, you know, I'm not that type of artist. What is your plan? What do you want to do? Then I'd have been more lawyered up. I would have gotten like a wicked lawyer to really walk through that process, remove sentiments, because, you know, it's family, we're all family. We know each other from way back then. So those would actually be the two things. So if I knew about, okay, even if I join, maybe this is how I want to go. There are certain terms and conditions I will make sure that in my contract, whether it's in terms of how much are you really going to invest, you know, in terms of the amount of creative control I have, that kind of stuff. And then if I'm not satisfied, figure out another option.
Do you feel cheated?
Cheated? Yeah, in time. Yeah, absolutely, time.
And of course, time. You know, time, they say, is money.
It's more valuable than any money you wish you can make, you know. So absolutely.
So if I call Falana right now to help you file a suit against Chocolate City for wasting your time, you believe your time was wasted?
Yeah.
Would you do that?
No, definitely not.
Why?
I have more power than I knew, right, in terms of asking questions. If I had just, for example, had a lawyer, do you understand? I'm not trying to figure it out myself. I would have made a different decision. So I have to take my L in that regard. But then also, I think, I'm kind of making up for it. So
All right. Did you release any album?
I released an EP here. It's called This Is Love.
EP.
Yeah.
How did you do? I don't think people knows about
Yeah,
it.
they know Goodman off of that EP.
That was the
predominantly
only song that
Goodman, and what else? There was Goodman, there was OK. Okay, no, OK wasn't on the EP. But yeah. However, at that time, EPs were a new thing. They were very new at that time. EPs were not a popular thing.
So on your contract,
Yeah.
were you supposed to release an album? If you were, what happened? Why didn't you release an album?
So, the Grammys define an album as 5 songs.
Okay.
My EP was 6 songs.
Okay.
So, depends on how you look at it.
Okay, but it
Yeah.
wasn't called an EP.
Yeah, it was called an EP, yeah.
It
was
wasn't
called an EP.
called an album.
Yeah, it wasn't
was
called an album.
EP.
Yeah.
And, by Nigerian standards, an EP is not good enough to be called an album.
So, by Nigerian standards, you first release an EP before you do an album. Why? Because an album is a statement.
Yes.
I've arrived.
Yes.
At that time, I hadn't. So, it was not wise to release an album.
So even till date, you haven't arrived.
Because
Even
I'm not.
till date.
I disagree. According to industry standards, but according to Ruby Gyang's album,
Yeah.
Ruby Gyang standards,
Okay, so according to
Yeah.
the industry standard,
Yeah.
you have not arrived.
because I don't have an album, I don't know about
So
that
would you
one.
say you are an upcoming or not?
No, I'm an established artist. Are you okay?
Well, if the standard by the industry says that without an album, you are still an upcoming.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an independent artist, so it's a different route, it's a different direction now.
Okay, so without an album, would you
Yeah.
say that you're popular enough, even if I take you to Sokoto, they recognize that there was a lady one time with Chocolate City called Ruby Gyang?
One, obviously, I've not done your research, bro, because in the North, Saroni and Ruby, they know me. They know me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if I pitch you
Yeah.
as against an Ira Star, who
Yeah.
do you think people know more, you or Ira Star?
What generation are we talking about?
Of course, music is music. If I pitch a Sonny
I disagree, bro.
if I pitch a Sonny Ade against Ira Star, they still know Sonny Ade. If
My
I-
daughter does not
yes.
know Sonia Ade. She's 18 years old. It's a totally different generation. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
So if you talk to a younger generation, Gen Z, and maybe much, much, much younger millennial, of course they'll know Ira Star. But if you're talking to millennials, they know who I am.
Well, you have said that in terms of generational gap and all
Yeah.
of that, but I know that a Good Man any day, any time is a good song,
Absolutely.
and it is timeless, and it doesn't have to do with generation.
Yes and no. Because the sounds have changed. Do you understand?
Yes.
When I listen to the music my daughter listens to, she's 18.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Because it's so, and this is me that that listens to trends, that tries and pays attention. It's a completely different. It's not R&B of our time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yes, maybe artists that might have grown up listening to older R&B, 90s, 2000s. Easy. My daughter is one of those people. They might get it, but for some people, no. It's just not what their sound is. And by the time you hit a certain age, your sound is either formed or when you're younger, it's still forming. So it doesn't necessarily,
So would you say you
apply.
have a definite sound?
I have a core sound, but I'm always adding new
So what's
to
your
it.
core sound?
I'm a soul artist, so that's my core sound.
All right.
Yeah.
So do you regret being on Chocolate City, because they didn't give you the desired attention that you needed, and they didn't focus on your kind of music, on your sound, which is soul, and you would have, loved to go back to school if the opportunity presents itself to you again?
Hell no, go back to school, definitely not. Are we allowed to say hell?
You
'Cause that's a
can
swear
say
word.
anything.
Okay. No, I don't regret it. What I would say is, because regret is a strong word, what I would say is I should have asked more questions and be more lawyered up. It would have been a totally different conversation.
All right. You
Yeah.
also try to give a people platform
Yeah.
through the J-Town Rising Star that
Yep,
you did.
yep.
And there's this perception that when people did not do well, they come back to J-Town and say, we want to give you platform. Is that your story?
No, it's not. And here's why. I could be in Lagos. The beauty about Lagos is even if music is not popping up, I can make money in so many other ways.
Yeah.
But having been there, I remember having a conversation with Bliss, the rapper, and he said, Ruby, no matter what you do in this side of the country, because you're not from here, you can only have so much of a stamp. But where you're from, if you go back, there's a lot of influence and impact you can have in that region. When I came back to make money, to be honest, right? But by the time I was talking to my mentors, there's a side of me that's always nurturing. I've always nurtured artists. I've always believed in sharing my platform. But I never really thought that I really wanted to go deep into it. When I came back, my mentor challenged me and said, Ruby, you have to think beyond just profit. You now have to think about impact. You have to think about legacy. What are you going to do? And that's where this platform came from. It also came at a good time for me because having been in the music industry for 13 years, there's a level of interest in just being an artist that was not there. You know, just doing interviews, I've done 1,000. Doing performances, I've done hundreds. You understand? The same old, it doesn't change. It does not. It's the same thing we do. So I was not as excited about this. But when I looked at this stuff, being in a position to bring out a new generation of artists, with hindsight, teaching them what I wish I knew, teaching them what I now know. Do you understand? Being able to position, particularly from where I'm from, a place that does not have these opportunities, it excites me now. I can always sing, I can always put out music, it's nothing. But this is giving me joy that when I first moved to Lagos, I had when it came to being an artist.
There's this saying in my culture that if I'm going to give to you a cloth, you should check what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Would you say you're a successful artist?
I am.
What makes
I would say so.
a successful artist?
The fact that at 5 years old, I decided I was going to be an artist. I'm going to be 40 this year, and I'm an artist. That is rare. Do you know how many of my mates didn't get it? We all started together, and I'm here, I'm an artist, I can still put out music and still have people that want to listen to me. I'm still doing gigs, I'm making money. I'm using my name and my brand to build. I'm putting people on. Bro, I'm successful on so many levels, not just financially, not just hits, but as a person and as a change maker.
All right, thank you very much, Ruby Gyang. And of course, that's it on this one of Boxed Up with Pedro. Did you feel boxed? Yes, you did.
I loved it, man.
All
you
right.
rarely have interviews like this. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you very much. I'm out.
All right.